if you're doing the ignition timing on any 45, you know, whatever year it is, just a 45 cubic inch Harley, you need flat screwdrivers of different sizes. I've got the right tappet chest spanner to check that the valves are firing on number 1 or front cylinder. 7/8 spanner to look in your inspection hole, torch, feeler gauges and fag paper. That's what I use. So the first thing I normally do, take your cover off, see what the points look like. Make sure the nut's tight on top. That's an aftermarket condenser, so that doesn't matter. You've got a mark there, see that line there? Make sure your points are opening and closing okay, so they look to be. So the first thing we want to do is just wind it over. What I'll probably do is put it in gear and do it by hand until you're on the highest part of your cam lobe on your dizzy, yeah? And then check your points gap, because that's critical before you set your time, and you need to do your points gap. Just put it in third gear. It's easy if you take the plugs out, but you've got to take all of this off to get to the front plug, so we probably won't bother with that. Right, so you're on your highest part of your cam lobe there, yeah?
Where are you looking for that?
Just on the height, see that oval there? Yeah?
Yeah.
You just want to be on your highest point of that.
Okay.
And then check your points gap. It should be 21 thou on one of these. Right, there's 20. And there's 21. Always give them a wipe off with a bit of cloth. If these have got grease on them, you don't want to put your grease into the points.
Yeah.
You want your points dry, so always give them a wipe off. So your gap there, between that and that.
Yeah.
You push that in there, and you can just slide it in there. It's possibly a tiny bit large, that, but if you see the points moving, opening at all, you know it's too small. Yeah, but I'm happy with that at 21. That's a nice points gap. Yeah. See, this advances and retards your ignition. That, yeah. You want your distributor all the way that way. So with the handlebar twisted back towards you, you want that all the way there. It looks like there's still a gap there, so it might not be fully adjusting properly. Okay, hold your cable, and then you see if you can get any more movement on that distributor. So we were about there with the handlebar twisted all the way back, yeah?
Okay.
And you've got that much more adjustment on there, but these are very finicky the way they work. So you can come up quite a lot with that, and that'll bring that in line with that, because you can undo this belt. So what you want to do is undo your belt, slide her up. See that going up there? So you've got a better angle for the cable. See that ridge on the bottom of there? Yeah, that should hold her for the belt, and you've got a ridge there and then that.
Yep.
The other thing you've got to do, which I haven't checked yet, is make sure that should turn freely in there, which it does, you see? Yeah?
Yeah.
So as you're rotating everything, it can move. So you want that pushed against there, take all your slack out if you can. We're not timing anything at the moment, we're just making sure that that goes back to where it wants to go to. So lock your cable off. Okay. Twist your handlebar. We haven't got the belt done up, so it might turn the dizzy, it might not. That's just moving the belt. Right, now you see that isn't pulling it back anymore. So what you've got to do is push your cable out a little bit and then take that back in. That takes all your slack out of your cable, much the same as, remember we did it on the throttle cable. You have to give it a little bit more. So that's giving it quite a lot more on that. So that should pull it, snap it back into there where it wants to go. Because you're not getting your full range of timing otherwise. Right, so we've got no timing there at all now. So it's all to do with all your play and everything on that band. So what we might have to do is pop the band off and just try and tighten that rivet up a little bit. See the play in that?
Mm.
So what we'll do is just bung that in a vice, just give that a little hammer down and it'll tighten it up hopefully. So you've got that much play in the handlebar.
Where are you holding on to down here just to check that play?
Well, you just hold that to that, and you can feel it in your hand, and turn that. I can move it that much without the cable moving in my hand.
I see, yeah.
It's pretty worn out that actually. No. So we might be looking at a new band for that, I think.
How critical is that?
It's not that critical, but let's see if we can get it back to working or not. I need to take the end out of the handlebar as well and see if it's got all its bits in there.
I guess with timing it, every little bit adds up.
Yeah. Right, it's got all its bits in there properly. Sliding okay. So that's just wear and tear, not a lot you can do with that then. We can buy all new parts, but I mean, it doesn't have to be on the back stop. The closer you can get it, the better. As long as you time it up so that this is always in the same place. Right, that was basically my fault. I had that down there, look. When you try and twist the dizzy, it's hitting that.
Ah, yeah.
So that was my fault. That's got a reasonable amount of movement on it, so that should be fine. Right, you're not going to get any more timing movement than that on it, but you shouldn't need any more than that. Fire it up on that, and then if you're going up a hill or anything, you just back that off a little bit. So the next thing you want to do is open your front piston tappet chests. That's locked up. Now you need to take your plug out. Right, now in theory, when you kick this over, every time it comes round to that high lobe, that should be firing on the front cylinder. Just wind it over one. The exhaust valve opening. In that valve opening. Coming up on the compression stroke. So anywhere from about there on, you've got to loose tap it, so you know you're firing on the front cylinder, yeah? So now what you've got to do is look for your timing lines. So let's put that back in third a minute. And you bump your engine forwards. Right, and there's your timing line, you see it? Right, you want that slap bang in the middle. Some people say set it a little bit forwards. I've always set them slap bang in the middle. That's it, looks in the middle to me.
Yeah.
Right, tear off a little bit of Rizlar, making sure again that you set all the way that way, twist it back towards you. Then you loosen your band off on the bottom, not the top on the cable, so you can move the distributor. Right, that rotates that way, so you want to bring it back there. So you know your points are shut, yeah? Right, you can't pull your fag paper out. You rotate your distributor in the way of direction of firing, so that when that's turning over the engine, that centre cam will be running that way. So it's coming up on the cam lobe. You turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. Right, you can just pull your fag paper out there. That should be perfect timing. You've got your fibre pad on the back that hits the cam lobe.
Yeah.
It's lined up with that mark on top.
Okay.
So you've got your timing marking line on the flywheels. You know you're firing on the front cylinder because your valves are, you've got valves that lash. That's lined up with that. So then you tighten your band up. And that should be perfect.
You said there's a way of doing it without the Rizzler?
Yeah, you can just put either a light bulb on it, you know, just a little clip-on light bulb, turn the ignition on and do it that way. Or you can put a tester on it that's got a buzzer for resistance.
Yeah.
So you've got open or closed circuit, minute. So it'll buzz, the minute you turn that, that breaks, and then it stops the buzz. Put your cover back on. From factory, when they came out, I mean this is chrome, it's not original, it would have had a line just stamped into the distributor base, and that we show you, if basically if you from factory, if you line that line up on the crank flywheels, that line up on the top of the cam lobe to the fibre pad that touches it, and that band mark should line up with a mark on there if it was factory, and then that's the way you just, if it hasn't been apart at all, from, you know, when they were new, you just line all those lines up and that's it. Providing of course you've got that tightened up with the handlebar in that place. See all the liquid on top?
Yeah.
That means that the cells are bubbling, which means they're taking charge. So you can look down inside. Popping, yeah?
Yeah.
So you know that one's charging.
Yeah.
That one's charging. And that one's bubbling, so hopefully the battery's okay. Let's see what we're reading. Right, that's reading 7.16, which is a very good output. 1.3, 1.2, 1.1. It'd be enough to fire it up, and then it'll maintain, and then I can check it again and see what voltage is going back into it, you know. Right, that's right, that's right, so that's working in the right order. Take the tick over up a little bit. I'll strip the carb, I think. Check the float level in it, because you're not getting a final mixture adjustment. What are you listening for? It's speeding up. Hear that going smoother? Smoother. Just clicking it one notch at a time on your idle mixture screw. Speeding up. And all of a sudden it'll just go good, fall off the other side. That's it. Back out. Right.
week on The Workshop.
Conundrum for anybody with an Austin 10. Where does that go? Where does that go? And there's two of these, and I don't know where they go. If anybody out there's got an Austin, I should imagine the 7's the same. I can't see why it's just a bigger Austin 7, I think. I'm not really too sure. But these are obviously for something adjustable, you know. You've got a threaded bar on there with a clevis pin and a locking nut. Really don't know.